Continuation of the story. The Bassa man and his only son. The drought continued for many weeks, and the sun burned hotter every day. Many farmers in the village had already lost their crops. Some began to leave their farms, hoping the next rainy season would be kinder, but Baba Gado and his son Sonny refused to give up. Every morning before sunrise, they went to the river with their buckets. They carried water back and forth, slowly pouring it on the small crops that still struggled to live. One evening, as they rested under a large tree beside the farm, Sonny looked at his father and asked, "Father, why do we keep working so hard when the sun is against us?" Baba Gado smiled gently and placed his hand on the boy's shoulder. "My son," he said, "a strong man does not run when life becomes difficult. The land tests our patience, but it also rewards those who do not give up." Sonny nodded and wiped the sweat from his face. From that day, he worked even harder. Weeks later, dark clouds finally began to gather in the sky. The wind blew softly across the village, and the smell of rain filled the air. Then, one evening, the rain finally came. The villagers ran outside with joy as the heavy rain fell on the dry land. The farms that had almost died began to breathe again. Because Baba Gado and Sonny had protected their crops through the drought, their farm became one of the most successful in the village that season. Soon people from nearby villages came to see how they had survived the hard time. The village elders called a meeting and praised Baba Gado, but Baba Gado stood up and said, "It was not only my wisdom. It was the strength and determination of my son." The elders looked proudly at Sonny. The boy who once followed his father to the farm had now become a young man who understood the value of patience, hard work, and courage, and from that day on, whenever the elders told stories to the children in the evening, they spoke about the Bassa man and his only son.